Welcome to another edition of the Doer's Digest. We've all seen it happen. That moment where betrayal looks like the quickest path to the top. It's a tempting shortcut for sure, but a treacherous one. The real question is, how do you respond when that moment shows up on your doorstep? Well, our anchor text today gives us a powerful and honestly a pretty surprising playbook for navigating exactly that. So let's get into it. So that line right there, it's pretty stark, isn't it? It comes straight from our anchor text, 2 Samuel chapter 4. And it's describing just a brutal, opportunistic act. You've got these two men who are trying to get in good with the rising king, David. And they figure the best way to do that is to assassinate his rival in his own home. They were absolutely convinced this act of treachery was their golden ticket. And right there, that sets up this classic moral crossroads. See, these men didn't see murder as an atrocity. To them, it was just a transaction, a really bloody shortcut to get power and influence. They actually thought they were bringing David a gift, something he just couldn't refuse. And this slide right here really gets to the heart of the whole thing. You've got two completely opposite mindsets clashing. On one side, there's treachery's logic. It's all about gain, no matter the cost. But then you have integrity's logic, where principle matters more than profit, where honor is worth more than a quick win. And it's in that conflict right there where real character is forged. So you can just picture it, right? The assassins show up, they present the evidence of their crime, and they are fully expecting a massive reward. But what happens next? Well, that's the climax of the whole story. And it reveals everything you need to know about how integrity answers treachery. Instead of celebrating that his rival is gone, David is horrified. He doesn't see a strategic advantage, he sees a profound violation. And this is the crucial part, he flat out refuses the gift and immediately orders the execution of the murderers. He draws a hard line in the sand, showing everyone that some victories just aren't worth having. And that right there, that's what principled leadership actually looks like. It's not about grabbing every single opportunity that flies your way. No, it's defined by the moral clarity you show after the shocking news arrives. It's all about making the choice to protect honor, to protect your conscience, even when, and maybe especially when, it's going to cost you something. David's response isn't just some old story. It's practically a masterclass packed with timeless principles. So let's pull out 3 core truths from this that you and I can apply directly to our own lives, to our own leadership challenges. So what's the first big takeaway? The first core truth we can pull from all this? Okay, this one is huge. The easy path, that convenient shortcut, it's almost always going to ask you to compromise, to quietly bless something you know deep down is wrong. David could have so easily just accepted the outcome and moved on, but he didn't. He chose the harder right over the easy wrong. And yeah, that choice might cost you in the short term, but it's what preserves your soul. And that leads us perfectly into the second core truth. You have to remember, this murder wasn't just a political hit job. It was an assault on a sanctuary, a man's own home, a place of trust. Principled doers, people like us, we understand that part of our job is to defend the sacred. That means defending the people, the promises, and the places that are supposed to be safe from this kind of betrayal. All right, and that brings us to the third and final core truth that this story just screams about: principled action. Think about it. David's justice was swift, it was public, and it was decisive. Why was that so important? Well, because a public response like that does 2 critical things. First, it heals. It clearly names the wrong that was done and sets a firm boundary for the whole community. And second, it warns anyone else out there who might think treachery is a good career move. It stops that cycle of revenge before it can even get started. Okay, so the story and the principles are powerful, for sure. But hey, this is the Doer's Digest, right? We're all about action. So how do we translate all this into something we can actually use? Let's get you equipped with a practical playbook for when you're the one facing that moral shortcut. Here are 5 crystal clear steps. Number 1, pause. Just stop. Before you benefit from someone else's ruin, refuse the gain. Second, name the wrong and do it clearly. Don't use vague language. Say it plainly. This was a betrayal. Third, protect. Your immediate first move should be to safeguard anyone who is harmed or is now vulnerable. Fourth, consequences. Call for justice that is measured and transparent, not just some big spectacle. And finally, number 5, rebuild trust. Take a visible, tangible action to publicly start repairing what was broken. And you know what? To make this even easier, Here are a few simple scripts you can use. When you're with your team and you're faced with one of those unethical opportunities, this is your line. It's simple, it's powerful, and it leaves absolutely no room for debate about what you stand for. Now, what about those private moments when no one's watching and it's just you and that temptation? This is your internal mantra. It's a reminder to your own conscience that you refuse to become calloused and you will not give your silent approval to something you know is wrong. And this might be the most important one. To the person who has been hurt by an act of treachery, these words communicate immediate solidarity. It says, "You are not alone. I see what happened. We are going to act." It replaces their fear with a promise of safety and a commitment to justice. And look, this stuff isn't abstract theory. It plays out in the real world all the time. At work, it looks like turning down a promotion that came from someone else being sabotaged and then demanding an investigation. In a family, it's speaking up when you see an inheritance that is just plain unfair. And in your community, it's insisting on an accountable, public response when wrongdoing comes to light. The principle is the same no matter where you are. Protect the process, not just the prize. So let's bring this all home. When you boil it all down, it comes to a single moment of decision, a choice that requires some real courage. Listen, I'm not going to tell you it's easy. Choosing integrity is going to feel costly sometimes. It might even feel lonely, and that's okay. Because what you protect in those hard moments, your character, your honor, the trust that people have in you, that becomes the foundation for everything else that truly matters in your life. So choose the hard right over the easy wrong. It's the only choice a true doer can make. So let's just close with a moment of reflection. A prayer to anchor these principles in our hearts and get us ready for the work that's ahead. Lord, grant me the courage to reject gain built on another's ruin and the wisdom to pursue measured justice. Keep my heart steady, protect the vulnerable, and shape my hands to do what is right. Amen.